Welcome to Love Science Today, the podcast where we explore modern relationships through psychology, sociology, philosophy, and real human behavior. Here we study attraction, intimacy, boundaries, and emotional safety in the age of digital connection. If you want to understand love on a deeper level, you are in the right place. Let us begin. Today's episode is titled Vulnerability in Love, Why It's So Hard and Why It's Everything. You want to be loved, but being truly seen feels incredibly risky. So you hold back, you filter your thoughts, you protect your heart, but at what cost? In this episode of Love Science Today, we explore the ultimate paradox of relationships. We look at why vulnerability feels so dangerous to our nervous systems, yet remains the exact and only ingredient that creates genuine, lasting connection. You will learn why vulnerability feels uncomfortable physically, even when you are with the right person, the psychological and biological roots of emotional guardedness, the critical difference between healthy vulnerability and trauma dumping or oversharing, how the fear of rejection, hidden shame, and past experiences actively block your openness, why emotional safety must be built through gradual honesty rather than instant exposure, practical step-by-step ways to open up to your partner without feeling overwhelmed or overly exposed. If you have ever struggled to express your true feelings, ask for what you actually need, or let someone truly know the real you. This episode will help you move from a state of protection to a state of connection. I want you to think about the last time you felt truly upset with your partner. Maybe they forgot something important. Maybe they made an offhand comment that stung. They noticed your shift in mood. They looked at you and asked, well, hey, what's wrong? What did you do? Did you look them in the eye and say, I feel hurt by what you just said? Or did you look away, force a tight smile and say, nothing, I'm fine? We all want to be deeply loved, but being deeply loved requires being deeply known, and being deeply known requires taking off your armor. Welcome back to Love Science Today, where we explore what it really takes to build connection that lasts. I am your host, Kehinde Ojo. Today's topic is incredibly simple, but it is far from easy. We are talking about vulnerability. It is the biggest buzzword in modern psychology. Everyone says it is important, but in the heat of the moment, very few people actually feel safe enough to do it. Today, we are unpacking why opening up feels like a biological threat, the difference between true vulnerability and oversharing, and how to finally let someone see the real you. Let us start with a foundational definition. What is vulnerability really? It is not just crying. It is not just talking about your childhood trauma. Dr. Brené Brown, the world's leading researcher on this topic, defines vulnerability as three things: risk, uncertainty, and emotional exposure. In the context of a relationship, vulnerability is the willingness to be seen completely without control. It is looking at someone and saying, this is how I truly feel. This is what I desperately need from you right now. This is what I am terrified of. And here is the catch. You have to say those things without knowing how the other person will respond. You cannot control their reaction. They might validate you. They might hug you, or they might misunderstand you, dismiss you, or reject you. That lack of control is exactly what makes vulnerability so incredibly powerful. And it is also exactly what makes it absolutely terrifying. If you find vulnerability difficult, I need you to know that you are not broken. Your brain is literally wired to avoid it. Human beings are social creatures. Evolutionarily speaking, thousands of years ago, if you were rejected by your tribe, you were left out in the cold to die. Belonging was not just a nice feeling, it was a matter of physical survival. Because of this, your brain views social rejection as a physical threat. Neuroscience has shown us that social rejection activates the exact same pathways in the brain, specifically the anterior cingulate cortex, as physical pain. Getting your heart broken actually hurts your physical body. So when you are standing in front of your partner, about to share a deep insecurity or ask for a need to be met, your nervous system reads it as a massive risk. Your amygdala flashes a warning sign: danger, risk of being judged, risk of being misunderstood, risk of being hurt. Instead of expressing yourself fully, your survival instincts kick in. You filter your words. You soften your tone. You make a sarcastic joke to deflect the tension. You hide the softest parts of yourself behind a wall of logic or anger. You survive the moment, but you sacrifice the connection. Your biological fear of rejection is completely natural, but your personal history acts as a magnifying glass for that fear. Think about your emotional resume. If you grew up in a home where expressing sadness was met with, "Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about," you learned that your emotions are a burden. If you opened up to an ex-partner and they used your insecurity against you in a later argument, you learned that vulnerability is ammunition. Your mind is a brilliant protector. It learns very quickly. It deduced a simple equation. Being vulnerable equals being in danger. So your mind builds protection. You develop emotional armor. You become the strong one. You become the chill partner who never needs anything. You become the perfectionist. And over time, that protective armor becomes so heavy and so permanent that you start to mistake the armor for your actual personality. Let us look at a real-world example. We will talk about Kirsty. Kirsty is 32. She is fiercely independent, highly successful, and emotionally composed. To the outside world, she is a rock. But in relationships, Kirsty secretly struggled. She dated a wonderful man named James. But whenever James tried to get close, Kirsty deflected. If she had a terrible day at work, she would never ask James for comfort. She would just go quiet and deal with it alone. If James upset her, she avoided the difficult conversation entirely to keep the peace. Everything was kept safely at surface level. Eventually, James sat her down and said something that broke her heart. He said, "Kirsty, I love you, but I feel like I don't really know you. I feel like you don't actually need me." Kirsty thought she was protecting herself. She thought being self-reliant made her a perfect, low-maintenance partner. But in reality, her armor was preventing any real intimacy from taking root. You cannot have a deep relationship with a shield. James did not want a perfect partner. He wanted a human being. Now, we need to make a very important distinction because pop culture often gets this wrong. Vulnerability is not the same thing as oversharing. Vulnerability is intentional, gradual, and boundary-driven openness. Oversharing is uncontrolled, premature, and often manipulative emotional exposure. If you go on a first date and spend 2 hours talking about your deepest childhood trauma and your most toxic ex, that is not vulnerability. That is oversharing. Often, oversharing is a subconscious attempt to force false intimacy or test the other person to see if they will run away. Vulnerability builds trust over time. You share a little bit and you see how the other person handles it. Do they listen? Do they validate you? If yes, you share a little more. It is not about saying everything immediately to a stranger. It is about revealing yourself at a pace that feels safe, grounded, and genuinely real. So, how do we take off the armor? How do we actually practice vulnerability without feeling completely overwhelmed? Here is your 5-step protocol. 1. Start very small. You do not have to start by sharing your darkest secret. Start by sharing a simple preference or a minor feeling. Say, "Actually, I'd prefer Italian food tonight." Or, "I am feeling a little overwhelmed with work today." Build the muscle with light weights before you try to lift the heavy ones. 2. Notice your fear and name it. Do not ignore the knot in your stomach, acknowledge it. One of the most vulnerable things you can do is admit that you are struggling to be vulnerable. You can literally say to your partner, "I really want to talk to you about something, but I am feeling very anxious about bringing it up." This instantly disarms defensiveness. 3. Choose safe people. Vulnerability is a privilege, and not everyone deserves full access to your heart. You must test the waters. If you share a small feeling and your partner mocks you or dismisses it, they are not a safe vault for your deeper emotions. 4. Speak clearly. Using I statements, vulnerability is not blaming. Instead of saying, "You always ignore me," try saying, "I feel really lonely and disconnected when we don't spend time together on the weekends. I need a bit more quality time." You are owning your feeling and clearly stating your need. 5. Stay present in the discomfort. After you open up, your instinct will be to run away. You will want to crack a joke, change the subject, or physically leave the room. Do not retreat. Take a deep breath, keep eye contact, and allow the other person the space to receive what you just said. Sit in the discomfort. I want you to take out your journal tonight. Ask yourself these 4 questions with total honesty. What specific parts of myself, or what specific emotions, do I actively hide in my romantic relationships? If I were to be completely seen by my partner, what is my absolute biggest fear of what might happen? Who in my life has historically made me feel safe enough to open up? And what traits do they share? What would it look like for me to be just 5% more honest about my needs this week? I want to leave you with this final thought. You cannot be deeply loved without being deeply known. And you cannot be deeply known without being truly vulnerable. Your armor might have kept you safe from getting hurt in the past, but that exact same armor is currently keeping you safe from experiencing joy, intimacy, and the profound relief of being loved for exactly who you are. It is terrifying to take it off, but the connection waiting for you on the other side is worth the risk. This is Love Science Today. I am Kehinde Ojo. Until next time, don't just protect your heart, let it be seen. Thank you for listening to Love Science Today. I hope this episode gave you something meaningful to think about. If you learned something, share it with someone who may benefit. Remember that love is not random. It is a pattern you can understand and choose with intention. Join me again for the next episode as we continue exploring the science and soul of real connection. Stay thoughtful, stay open, take care of your heart.